Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Taking a look here at Avax, double checking a few key factors here. It recovered quite nicely, but we're still seeing some resistance in this range. So we're going to talk about specific levels here today just to kind of focus on for A, retracement, or B, continuation, whichever one is going to happen first. We can see though that previously, just to kind of clarify, we got a lot of confluence here at this $50 range. We do end up getting closer to 50. Keep in mind, we'll probably see an initial rejection there because we saw a lot of support there and it hasn't been retested as a resistance yet. Okay, so it's a common place in which we'll see that happen. When we looked at this yesterday, we were like $48, expecting that retest to 50. The price just continued lower. In fact, this is one of the coins that I had a short set up at $49 for, and unfortunately, that window of opportunity never occurred. So hindsight's 2020, of course, folks, but if you missed out on all those shorts yesterday, no big deal. If you missed out on longs earlier today, also no big deal. There's plenty more to come. So we'll take a look here at a few important things and kind of go from there. I want to preface by saying thank you for being an awesome, amazing part of my life. Thank you for always hitting that like button, commenting below, and you're welcome too. Some of my community members are really thankful for Bitunix $12,000 deposit bonus this month. No KYC or VPN required. Check them out, folks. They're a really good exchange. What I want to talk about though is Avax. Last 7 days of liquidation. Just clarify here that we're in a position right now where there's more liquidation on the upside than the downside. Big surprise. And you can see these kind of concentrations here. You see this local high at 46.50. That area got swept here recently. We could very well see that become the new pivot or the bounce if Bitcoin stabilizes at 100,000 and 98,000. That's kind of the estimate that I'm looking at right now. I'm looking for a long in that range for Bitcoin. And if AVAX pulls back to that level, that may be a desirable entry. Okay. Let me explain more about that here soon. But as you can kind of see, tentative resistance made to work as a new support level moving forward. A lot of this hinges on Bitcoin not dropping its bottom, but again, not much you can do about that except minimize your loss by using stop losses. Anybody in my community yesterday who's been following me and basically finally using stop losses instead of just kind of letting their trades run, they were super thankful for that a couple of days ago on Monday when the price action dumped really hard. We closed out our only long position on Solana at a small loss. It was like maybe 20%. But just say there was no stop loss in place, right? Price action would have continued to hit that 100% liquidation level. So not worth it, folks. Trust me on this. So liquidation delta is still more bearish, folks. So we can see here that the overall sentiment is still bearish for AVAX. Makes sense. We're under 50. Until we break above that level, we're probably going to see most people shorting. I'd be interested in a short closer to 50 just because that's an obvious area of resistance, okay? Between now and then, though, a lot can happen, so don't just blindly take a short there. However, we can see here, pretty obvious, there's a lot of liquidation, leaning more towards shorts than longs, implying that more shorts are in play. We can see here, too, a lot of heavy longs at 42.50. Congrats on that. That's a pretty solid entry, honestly. Because, again, even though I'm considering, just say, loosely a short at $50 for AVAX, it doesn't mean that you can't still find profit between now and then, and that the price is going to go much lower than that. I do personally think the low 40s is pretty heavy support, and I'll describe that here too. So let's talk a little bit about the daily and work our way down. First, to clarify that $40 range, just so you know, it's right there at this 0.618 fib level. We saw 2 retests of that range before the price took off. Okay, so that's a good amount of support there. So just please understand that. We also need to recognize there's some bit of fair value gap here still that hasn't been filled, down as low as our previous tentative high at about $36, $37. While I don't think that will happen, we need to be mindful that it could happen. So just be aware that is a thing. Okay, let's also take a look at the moving averages and recognize that we're tentatively above the 50, or sorry, that's the 20-day SMA rather. Being above that is important, so if we can close above that, we may actually see further upside, continuation potential. But a lot of that hinges on Bitcoin, again, maintaining its current range and not going lower. So remember that. Bitcoin kind of controls everything right now for the most part. While most altcoins are 2x of Bitcoin a day, they were -3 to 4x Bitcoin on Monday, okay? Like we're seriously talking like a 6% correction from Bitcoin led to like a 25 to 30% correction for most alts. It was insane. So please trade with stop loss, low leverage, whatever you can do to mitigate the losses. Okay. So RSI on the daily time frame still over 50. That's good. Money flow index looks okay. Stochastic swinging back, MACD diverging. Those are normal momentous indicators when you lose a pretty important trend line, or more importantly, you have a significant correction like we saw. What is that? On a full day, Avax corrected 25.5% from top to bottom. Okay, that's pretty bad. But again, it's par for the course. Most coins did the same thing. So 4-hour time frame, SMAs, all kind of letting us know that we are still under resistance. While we're tentatively above the 20 and the 100, I don't put a lot of weight into that. I think that it's still very premature to say. So taking along, honestly, right now just doesn't make a ton of sense, just based on the simple fact that I'm expecting Bitcoin to pull back. And we want to see how AVAX responds to that. We're right here at 50 on the RSI too, letting us know that we're at a resistance range. So 47.50 is a rough estimate for a resistance for us. And money flow index is continuing to increase, but that's only because we're starting to see the last 14 candles lose that selling pressure, right? So again, for the most part, MFI is going to continue higher, MACD is going to converge. We see a lot of positive stuff here on the 4-hour, but it's not perfect, okay? Either way, it's better than it should be, and the truth is here, this local high, like I mentioned before, at about 45.80, that's the area in which we could very well see a pivot and a bounce. So the price comes down to fill that fair value gap and see a bounce there. That's ultimately what we're looking for. So, just loosely right now, I would be considering a long position here at $46 as a rough estimate. Okay, that'd be a perfect case scenario. Does that always work out? Nope, that's not how life is, specifically not in crypto. So take a look at the Ichimoku cloud. We can confirm that we're breaking bullish. We're not there yet. We're only spent about the last 2 or 3 hours above the cloud. Generally speaking, when you try to take a long, as soon as you break through the cloud, the price has a tendency of retesting and coming back down. So hypothetically, again, perfect world, you consider a long closer to 46 than you do right now. I'm not saying that the price can't still continue higher. It just doesn't make a ton of sense. Even though these are good confirming factors and we're more likely than not on the hourly switching from bearish to bullish behavior here, the other timeframes don't really convince me just yet. So again, me personally, I'd feel much better about this time tomorrow or later this evening, for example, if the price action's at 46 and Bitcoin's holding its range really, really well. That's going to be a good cause for me to want to consider a long position with AVAX. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at there. I hope this makes sense. I've clarified this correctly. It's not an exact science ever, folks, but again, you go with like the odds of success, and at this point, you're gonna have better luck taking along at a lower price point here, because it just makes sense for the price to pull back. We're overextended here. We're leading into a 9. Bitcoin's showing the same exact qualities, and I think as Bitcoin continues to pursue its local support range, we're gonna find some slightly better entries on most altcoins. That's just my thoughts, though. I hope it works out either way, no matter how you look at it. Thanks again so much for watching. Look forward to work with you. CryptoCash.tech is a site link down below if you're curious about becoming a better trader. And obviously, again, just make sure you check out our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord if you want to stay on top of our playout charts that I post regularly. All right, folks, have a good rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.